This is Julian Young from ISW Wrestling, and you are listening to the Unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast.
This is the Unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast. Feel the pain in the blast. Through the ropes, through the fight, Maritime Wrestling rules the night. The past, the present, the future. Maritime Wrestling never dies.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast. I am the Maritime Warrior. According to Corey, I'm not, but I am. A little golf clap by Jason. Screw you guys. Joined by the BSHL podcast, Corey Robbie Show. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Miramichi Northman, BSHL champions.
Miramichi Northman, BSHL champions. What a series. Really happy for those guys. It's a hardworking team that deserved that championship. And, yeah, man, Bryce Milson scored this snipe goal on Friday night. It was one of the nicest goals I've seen in a while. Just what a talent and what a season by the BSHL. Really happy to be able to be there and put a spotlight on those guys, and can't wait for season 3. Wouldn't want to do it with anybody but you, bud.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to next season already. It's like a drug. You get into these hockey games, you get to know these people, and just this is our league. This is our NHL. So, Jason Casey, Mr. Tri-City Tide, how's it going with you? How is the Tide going?
It's going great with me. Going great with the Tide. Had a doubleheader this past weekend. Won both games. So
Great
we're back to 500. Heading to the U.S. On a 4-game road trip. So yeah, should be pretty interesting. Taking on 3 teams down there. So yeah, should be pretty cool. And we'll see what it's like when they get home. Next home game is April 11th.
April 11th. Mark your calendars, everybody. We're due to go to a Tides game. Like, before I start work, I got a month before we work. So, Wildcats game, wrestling shows, Tides game, we got to do it. The 4th man in the crew, he's back. Back again. Look who's back.
Oh, it's me.
Mark. It's you. What's going on, buddy?
What? It's going. Not very much. Just marking out the usual.
How's life going?
Life
pretty
for
good.
the wife.
Marking out the usual. No, I'm just
The
kidding.
wife.
I'm doing excellent,
How's
dude.
your wife?
How were the Wildcats games on the weekend? I know you got some hockey.
Oh, dude, I was so pissed. I was so mad at that game. Like, you have no idea. I've never been heated about a game that much. Like, I despise when referees control a hockey game. And that was especially what was going on there. I know that the results don't exactly reflect it in the same way that we saw it. It was a 4-0 game for Moncton, but still, it was, man, I hate that. I hate when referees get into that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, busy week for wrestling here. 2 shows. We got the results. Big thanks to Luc Chiasson for sending me the results here. If you didn't know the name of the wrestler, you sure tried. So Rugged Rick Owens beat Chevron at Superstars Wrestling, by the way. Superstars Wrestling, their show. Rugged Rick Owens beat Chevron. Fantana beat Rudy Lockhart. The Strong Brothers beat Hunter Sampson and his mystery partner that ended up being Spike Esty. Franco Varga beat Ryan Storm. And in the main event, Wesley Pipes defeated the Ultimate Male, Zane Valentine, with no class, Eric Bass. Zane Valentine, quickly becoming one of my favorites in the Maritimes. His partnership with no class Eric Bass has been just unbelievably entertaining. And just the IPW skits that have been happening with the belt being taken back and all that, and him being in PTSD mode. Now, talk to me about this pairing here. Whoever.
It's fantastic. Zane has great in-ring skills and phenomenal outside ring skills.
Yeah.
Him and Eric on the mics, their skits, their promos are next level. They're so fun to watch. I always look forward to them. Like I'm like, oh, is it done already? Like, what's next? So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I missed that a little bit when Charlie Hubley left the Maritimes. He'd kind of do those skits, and he'd be a little goofy and a little fun to watch. Eric Bass, man, very, very creative mind. I don't know who's behind them all. I feel like a big chunk of it's Eric because he's just doing such a good job with it. But it's not like anything else currently going on in the Maritimes.
Yep.
And it's working. I'm loving it. It makes me want to go to some of these shows. And now I'm actually going to have time to do it. Let's go.
Yeah, and you know, kind of to add on to that, it's kind of odd how we had never heard of both of these guys until we recently had a bit of discussion about the IPW shows. And now I'm seeing these skits on Facebook, and like they're hilarious, phenomenal.
I found out all about that when I started talking about bras, and all of a sudden I was getting trans rights stuff and bra ads on my Facebook. It was unbelievable. But in the end, I ended up. Corey's like, I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm talking about how it's funny how as soon as you start talking about something, like for Mark, he looks it up. Now, bam, it's getting popped into his social media. Social media is really powerful, man.
Oh, it's crazy.
It is.
One of the things that I've enjoyed about Zane Valentine is his entrance.
Yeah.
So I know it's the Alan Parsons Project. There was a song named Sirius or
Eye in the Sky?
High in the Sky, whatever.
It's the Chicago Bulls song?
The Chicago Bulls song, but also
Sirius,
Ricky the
Eye
Dragon.
in the Sky.
Yeah. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat used to come to that in the WWF. And it's such a good song. And it's like this epic song with Zane Valentine. I don't know why. It fits him so friggin' well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right now they're the full package when it comes to, you know what I mean? Like comedy versus in-ring skills. They're fun at a show. And I find Eric is really good at fitting the manager role. Mm-hmm. He plays his part well. He's good on the outside of the ring. Walks around with a squirt bottle. So if you see him at a show, be prepared to get soaking wet because he will squirt you. I know that for a fact. It's fun. It's a very fun, and they know how to perform in front of a camera. So it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Franco Varga versus Ryan Storm. Varga is probably one of the biggest import that we're getting right now in the Maritimes. And Ryan Storm, living legend here in the Maritimes. What can you talk to me about Franco Varga?
I know he's from Puerto Rico. Big man. I've never seen him wrestle personally. I have seen some video on him. He is a powerhouse. I do believe that the Superstars Wrestling show, he was dressed as the Green Power Ranger.
It was.
So that's always cool. It's always fun to watch superstars and wrestlers dress or have outfits that like display some of their interests and stuff, like the Green Power Ranger or cosplay somebody. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some tape on him. He's a powerhouse. He's a strong wrestler. I like what I see, but I would love to see him live here soon.
Same. Mark, have you seen Franco Varga?
I have not. This, like, basically, it's another one of those performers that I've recently been seeing and hearing about, etc. If I'm not mistaken, you guys even mentioned that he was a champion. Was it an IPW?
He is technically the last IPW heavyweight champion, so they're a world title.
Right.
And I'm curious to see if he will show up in IPW in upcoming shows for them. I don't think he's going to be at the next show for IPW, but I don't know. He's not on the poster anyway, so.
Yeah.
So an interesting match here, Fantana versus Rudy Lockhart in a cruiserweight match. Could we be seeing a cruiserweight title since we have a cruiserweight division?
Big question.
Yeah, good question. I know Pipes had mentioned that they're not focusing on titles at the moment. They want to build their product before actually crowning champions. But I mean, if they're creating a cruiserweight division, I mean, I'm sure at some point you're going to see a cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
But I mean, who better to start off a cruiserweight division than Rudy Lockhart and Fantana?
100%.
Like, who do you pick as your first champion there? Because it's can't miss either way.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Exactly. So next show that we have, New Breed Wrestling Ground Zero. The VIP portion of this had the wrestler formerly known as Jefferson James beating Sebi. Andre Myatt came out. There was a 10-bell salute from Mark Walker. An elimination tag team match. We have new tag team champions. Damian Spade and Ryan Denham are the new champions, beating Hollywood Heathens and Bobby Boyette and the Ghost Ricky Mortis. Riddick Stone, he beat Anthony Deuce Harlem. Justin Newhook, he beat Oliver Hansen. Kobe Christ beat Ryan Schimmel. And in the main event, Bad Thad Howard, the NBW heavyweight champion, teamed up with Max Power to beat Jonathan Cross and old school Andre Myatt. Is it a little disappointing that we didn't get a title match on this show, a heavyweight title match?
I mean, it's always disappointing when a show doesn't have a title match, in my eyes. But I think this leads up to some pretty cool storylines. The whole Evan Wolf, Jonathan Cross from last season with the new Evan Wolf with Bad Thad Howard this season. There's definitely going to be some kind of a cool storyline there. I do see that they had mentioned as well that they've announced for their next show that because of the tactics and how Thad won the last match, that it's going to be a Cross versus Howitt match at the next event where fans bring the weapons.
Did they say if this was a title match?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they said it was a title match or not. I'm assuming that's to be determined. But yeah, I mean, if fans bring the weapons, it should be a good match regardless whether the title's on the line or not. But yeah, I definitely see that there's going to be some title changes or some title matches soon. But I mean, there was one title match. There was the tag team title match.
The tag titles, yeah. Speaking of that, the tag team of Damian Spade and Ryan Denham, they did the odd pairing thing, which has worked in the past, was usually on the short term, but beating Hollywood Heathens and another odd couple pairing of Bobby Boyette and the Ghost Ricky Mortis, I thought for sure the Hollywood Heathens were taking this one.
Yeah, me too. But again, it's probably storyline connected. There's been a few videos out there I saw on Facebook hovering around. New Breed is really good at having a video or like vignettes of their storylines in between shows. So, I mean, obviously there's stuff to come. I can't wait to see what happens and what takes place from now until their next show in May. So it should be pretty cool.
Justin Newhook versus Oliver Hansen. I think, Jason, you mentioned Oliver Hansen as one of this new powerhouses in the Maritimes. Working with someone like Justin Newhook, it's only a plus right here.
Oh, 100%. Oliver Hansen, coming from the rugby world, powerhouse. I've seen him catch Chip Chambers in midair into a suplex. So having up against a guy like New Hook is I hope they reinforce the ring because these are two big guys. So I can just imagine what the ring condition was like after the fact. It would have, in my eyes, it would probably have been the best match of the night because I know how both of them work and how well they are together. So I think it would have been a fantastic match.
Yeah, Oliver Hansen is one of those guys. Like I saw him on Sebi's his vlog. So if you haven't seen Sebi's YouTube channel, make sure to go to subscribe to that because it's some great stuff.
Absolutely.
Oliver Hansen even has that voice. Like he sounds like a Viking.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys seen his last promotion, where he was sitting in the hot tub in the ice.
I did not.
With the steam and stuff. That 100% was filmed, and I've got inside information that was filmed in Iceland.
Oh wow!
So he has recently did a trip to Iceland, so he's filmed some of his promos directly from Iceland.
That is crazy.
So yeah, when you say you're living your gimmick, he's putting everything into his gimmick.
So the future is bright in Maritime Wrestling. Before we move on to upcoming shows, Mark, Corey, anything to add to this?
No, I'm good. I mean, I think there's a lot of cool creative stuff on social, more so than we've seen in a long time, and I think that's Maritime Wrestling heading in the right direction. Any new ways to get your stuff out to people is fun, and we'll be right here to share it along with you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And
So-
like you can see that the promos are being like, you know, they're up in their game. It's going. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Upcoming shows.
yeah. So I mean, like, we're 25. Everything is online, so it just makes sense for Maritime Wrestling to get to that level as well. I mean, we're doing it with the podcast. A lot of guys are doing it with promos, a lot of social media vignettes, a lot of, you know what I mean? So it's cool. Everybody's sharing content. It's spreading. It's getting bigger and bigger. The more you watch, the faster it's spreading. So it's absolutely fantastic.
All right. Upcoming shows.
Upcoming shows.
2 shows, both on April 5th. IPW Takeover. If you haven't listened yet, we did interview Justin Summers and Adam Doucette yesterday. So that is already out on the YouTube channel. Their big show coming up. VIP matches. Oni Bjornsson versus the Ghost Ricky Mortis and TJ Miguel versus Demonic. In a 4-way dance, Dominic Warrior versus Caden versus Ryan Schimmel versus Spike Esty. DDT, Dudes Doing Things. They will be taking on AWOL. Fantana will be taking on Bobby Boyette. Rugged Rick Owens will be taking on Big Bad LG, Logan Green. And after the what we saw on social media with Zane Valentine and No Class Eric Bass, will we see them at the show? They did mention that they would be going live on Twitch. So if you're not able to make it to this show, if you're not from the island and you can't make it, the show will be live on Twitch as it happens. So we'll be sharing the links for that. Also on April 5th, Pro Wrestling Unleashed has their own WrestleMania, I think.
Yeah, the Glitter and Gold show.
Glitter and Gold, and it's a shoot right there. First match, the ECPW Celtic Roots title will be on the line. Justin Newhook will defend against Anthony Deuce Harlem. The DIY title will be on the line. Champion Jonathan Cross will be taking on Joey White. In a number 1 contenders match for the PWU title, Madison Miles will take on a mystery opponent. Ethan Knight has an open challenge for the Propeller Arcade title. The Maritime Heavyweight title will be defended in a fatal 4-way match. Champion Chip Chambers will be taking on Lincoln Steen, Dawson James, and Ronnie Payne. And your main event for the Pro Wrestling Unleashed Heavyweight title, Hollywood Cole defending against Rudy Lockhart. So if you're in the area of Propeller Arcade, don't miss your chance. I think they're sold out, right?
Sold out. They sold out the entire venue in 7 hours.
So there you go. You can't make it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's not a big venue, so I think they sell 120, 150 tickets-ish per event. But, to completely sell out without anybody knowing what the matches were going to be prior to sellout is fantastic. I'm happy for them. I'm glad they have that type of following. But now that they've announced the matches, I wish I was going.
Yeah, it looks like an amazing card. So we will be talking about the results of those matches on next week's episode. This week, we have our fan question of the week. And Jason, do you have that in front of you?
I do. It was sent in by a viewer named Chris, no last name. But he asked... Yeah, just like Cher, that's right. And it's Chris with a CH, not a K. He asked, if you were to launch your own maritime wrestling promotion with a real roster, who are your 5 first signings?
So, I took a long time mapping this one out. I thought this was an amazing question, a really fun one. So I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, okay.
Not only do I have my five wrestlers that I would pick, but my territory would be in between Miramichi and Moncton. So Bucktoosh, Rishabuktu, all like that area.
Cocaine.
And the way I've structured it is my first pick would be my first 2 picks would be Justin Newhook and Matt Connors, and they would be my first tag team champions. So that's pick 1 and 2. My second pick would be Big Bad LG Logan Green. He would be my secondary champion. My 4th pick would be Hollywood Cole. He would be my first world champion. And my 5th and final pick would be Chip Chambers, and he would be the number 1 contender and feuding with Hollywood Cole. So, Sabotage, Big Bad LG, Chip Chambers, and Hollywood Cole is my pick.
Okay, you went in deep there. That was
in deep.
Deeper. I'm annoyed by how similar our lineups are, Corey.
Yeah, mine's not far either, but
so I'll go next. For me, my first picks. I mean, just it's a respect thing. It's how much I enjoy watching these guys. My first pick was Sabotage, Newhook and Connors. My third pick is where we vary, Corey. My third pick was Moondog Dylan Davis. That's for my boy Connor. That's for Connor Cook right there. Picked us a Moondog. And then my next pick was Hollywood Cole. And my last pick was one of my favorite wrestlers in the Maritimes. So glad he's back to doing what he does best. Chip Chambers.
Mark, you can go next.
Awesome. I just kind of want to be precise here and not to be against Sabotage or anything like that, but I kind of understood that we would not pick tag teams.
Newhook beat his ass.
So,
you can pick a tag team, but it counts
as 2 picks.
As 1 and 2.
Well, you know. So mine's going to be a little different. I do have some similarities. So there's 2 different guys. So I have to be honest, I kind of lean on the heel side of things. I kind of didn't think about that, but here's my 5. So number 1, you need Hollywood Cole. Any promotion needs Hollywood Cole. Come on now. He's going to be your champion at least once, if not twice, taking it back like the next event or whatever, because he just shows up whenever he wants, you know? And then there's Big Bad LG, because, you know, who can strut and talk louder than Hollywood Cole? LG. There you go. Bay. And then, well, kind of rolling back to when I didn't understand the assignment that we wouldn't be able to pick tag teams, I picked Justin Newhook by himself. So I picked one half of Sabotage.
There's nothing wrong with the Newfoundland Nightmare.
No, definitely not.
I'm going to tell Matt Connors. He's going to be mad. He knows where you live.
Oh, man. This is not going on YouTube, is it?
It is.
Oof. I'm gonna start going to IHW or something. Never mind. But then number 4. So I added a little bit of variety on this one, and I went with Giant Orion. I think this may or may not be one of my unique
pick. Yeah,
that's a good pick.
Absolutely, you need a big guy in there, right?
Yeah,
a big guy to beat the big guy. Well, the smaller big guy. So
smaller big guy.
Well, I mean,
What's your fifth pick?
He's what, like 7 feet tall and like 450 pounds?
7'4", isn't it?
Maybe? Holy fuck! Yeah,
7'4".
He's getting taller every fucking episode. By episode 20, he's gonna be 8'2".
It ain't my fault.
Golly.
That's how it works with tall people, Corey. So,
what's your 5th pick?
Number 5 is the Messiah of Maritime Wrestling. The whatever of the backhand. I don't remember what it is because it's so long. But Colby Christ. He's so good. He's one of my favorite technical wrestlers in the Maritimes.
It's a good list.
It's a good list.
Thank you,
Jason.
Appreciate it.
So I kind of went with starting a brand new locker room where you need locker room leaders, and then moving on to newer guys. So I picked 2 locker room leaders. No, first locker room leader was Chip Chambers.
Okay.
Second, Moondog Dylan Davis. Not for Connor, but for my list. Followed by Hollywood Cole. I mean, he's got to be on everybody's list. He's got to be one of the best guys in the Maritimes right now, so you can't not have him on your list.
Exactly.
And then I went with, like everybody else, Big Bad LG. He's the heel's heel. He's got a mouth on him. You need that kind of heat in a promotion. And then to round it off, I picked the kid, Rudy Lockhart.
Ooh.
Okay,
that's a good one.
There's your cruiserweight champion right there.
Yeah. So those are my first 5.
I like how we all thought of it from different sides. I just picked it as I'm just a wrestling fan, so I just picked my 5 guys that I'd want to see in a promotion the most. Corey put all this thought into who's going to hold which title. Got a guy down there who's like, oh, let's see locker room leaders. Like, you're actually building a promotion that can run. They got Mark who's like, I like big guys. How is it?
It's going to be meaty men slapping meaty men.
I like meaty men, preferably bald, preferably tall. That's Mark. That's my Mark impression.
That's your impression for everybody. Corey has the funniest way of making fun of people. Everybody sounds the same, but no matter how many times he does it, it gets a laugh out of somebody, and it's usually me.
The voice. That's the voice.
I'm Mark.
It's funny how Mark and Cheryl sound creepily alike.
How is this now? I didn't tell him to F off yet. I imagine that happens in the household.
No, Corey's.
It has in the past.
Were you a nice brother?
No, I was a piece of shit. I was a nuisance. Oh my god, I was a terrible kid growing up. I was so annoying. I'll tell that story on another episode.
So
that's a good deal. I like that.
A big thank you to Julian Young for doing our intro today.
Absolutely.
So speaking of IHW, tonight at 9, we had a talk with the Maritime Wrestling legend himself, Remy Petit. Talked a little bit about his career.
He swallowed his tongue.
We talked a little bit about his career. We talked a little bit about IHW right now. So don't miss that. Thank you very much to Remy for joining us here. Before we end this episode, anything else from you guys?
I mean, for me, I think again, I'll echo. Thank you, Remy. I think that was one of the best interviews that we've done. And good job to everybody that, I pitched in a little bit, but you guys did a great job with Remy. What a generous guy. What a great storyteller. So,
absolutely. It was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was the best one. There was at least one fun story that would be
Yeah.
very
If
interesting. to think about
If
anyway.
Remy was 5 inches taller, he would have made Mark's list.
A little, yeah.
Well, no,
Definitely tune in for his interview so you can hear about the honky tonk man.
yeah. So
It's a good listen.
So anyway, that is today's episode. Thank you everybody for listening, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And we will see you next week for episode 6. Until then, take care, everybody.
Peace.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember to catch us here every Wednesday for a new episode. Please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and more. Links are in the description. See you next time.
Don't miss out and don't